There's something on the stairs. So, when I was a kid, I'd race up to the top of the stairs as fast as I could, like it was some sort of silly game. Well, I must have been 5 or 6 at the time. I'm not sure, but I know I was very little. Somewhere along the way, a voice at the top of the stairs started to whisper to me. It would make bets with me, such as, "I bet you a penny you can't make it to the top of the stairs." I don't really think there was a certain amount of time or anything. As I have said, I was very little, and I probably didn't have any counting abilities anyways. I recall just sitting at the top of the stairs, having conversations with this voice, about the betting, of course. Eventually the voice started to bet me my life. Instead of pennies, it'd say, "I bet you your life you can't make it to the top of the stairs." As I got older, it stopped. I never really thought about it at all. I never mentioned it to anyone. Until one night, I was sleeping over at my brother's place. I was about 18 and he was 22, and we were talking about spooky stories. Out of nowhere, I brought up the voice at the top of the stairs, and my brother got all quiet and weird. Before I even mentioned the betting aspect, he said, "Did it make bets with you?" We both looked at each other, horrified. It certainly was a freaky after the fact. A lot of bad shit went down in my family at that period of time in my life, and my mother, a heavily religious lady, so there was a lot of evil in our lives at that time. I don't at all think our place was haunted, by the way. It was built in the late 70s, and as I got older, I never experienced anything like that again. Photographic Memories. I grew up in New Mexico and was always very into the outdoors. Hiking, camping, rock climbing, anything you name it. One summer when I was 19, I went on a 4-day, 3-night camping trip near my parents' house on my own. Might sound weird, but I have been used to this area many times and it was quite safe. Anyways, I brought my camera and took lots of pictures. But when I came back home and developed my film, there were 3 extra pictures that I didn't take. Of me. Sleeping. 1 each night. None of my stuff was missing or stolen, and nothing happened. But it freaked the hell out of me. Mirror, mirror. My son used to sleepwalk a lot when he was around 8-9 years old. I'd wake to find him in the hallway outside my bedroom, just shifting from foot to foot. Eyes open but unseeing. Creepy, let me assure you. One night, I woke to a knocking sound. Not hard, just some sort of rhythmic tap, tap, tap. It was my son's head as he tried to walk through the wall. So far, not scary, just my kid being a little creepy, though no fault of his own. Fast forward a couple of years later, and we're doing a little renovation work. We take down the nasty wallpaper in that hallway and we find there's a mirror there. Underneath the thick wallpaper, a fucking mirror. My boys have been trying to walk into a mirror. Making the bed. I got a promotion at work and moved my family from Texas back to my home state. My wife's aunt and uncle lived next door to a house they wanted us to rent because it had been empty for more than 3 years. But they knew the owner. So we worked out a lease agreement and moved in. It was a nice little house in a nice enough middle-class neighborhood, and living next to relatives was great because they offered to watch our kids regularly. At the time, we had twin, not quite 1-year-olds, so they slept in separate cribs and a room down the hallway from our bedroom. and they were really good at sleeping through the night. A couple of months after we moved in, we started hearing sounds, like footsteps down the hall. The hallway was carpeted, but it sounded like floorboards creaking underfoot. The house wasn't very old, maybe 25 years. I chalked it up to the house settling, but it happened almost every night for 2 weeks. Then one night, one of our boys woke up screaming in the middle of the night. My wife and I ran into the room and my wife screamed. Both of our boys had somehow been neatly tucked under their fitted crib sheets, like someone had just made the bed over top of them. My wife ripped off the sheet, picked up the crying baby, and started comforting him. I walked over to the other crib and saw that the other baby was lying completely still under the sheet. I ripped the sheet off of him and picked him up. He woke up from a dead sleep and looked at me bleary-eyed. Thank God he's okay. As I was holding him and staring at his face, trying to figure out if he was okay, suddenly he smiled. But not at me. He was looking over my shoulder, at the ceiling. My wife and I took the babies to bed with us that night. Nothing like that ever happened again.